So, hello and welcome people back to The Legend of Sheena.
A very angry legend, judging by how many times she stabbed this map.
Exactly. So, last episode I promised that I would pull out the manual and actually read what this story is to this game. So, there is chaos and despair in the kingdom of Tokavia. By the way, Tokavia is actually the company that made it is called Toka.
Of course.
So that's a cute detail. The king's felonious brother has been exiled to live as an outlaw in the outer rims of the world after several violent attempts at assassinating the king and take over the throne. Saturated with hate and greed, the brother will not remain oblivious for long. He attends a dark sorcerer to learn the powers of evil and black magic. The king shall not feel safe for long. After years of studies, the evil brother himself becomes a dark sorcerer and is ready to stand up against his brother, which he hates with all his cold heart. But he cannot do it alone. He needs an army, a force of warriors to break through the defenses of his brother. Therefore, turns to Morlog the Soul Thief to help and support. The evil demon agrees to the vicious schemes of the king's brother under one circumstance: all souls in the kingdom will for eternity belong to the warlock for his personal satisfaction. Being so, Morlock and the evil brother become allies in blood. So excuse me for that. My video froze. Where I stopped at. Allies in blood, already an evil and sinister plan for forming in the heads of the rulers of darkness. I'm sorry for reading this so bad, but it's like white letters on gray background, and it's also like 20 years old. Later, in the castle of the king, the loyal lifeguard Axel, Tara, and Karo, aka Vegeta, Sheena, and Doofus, stand guard in the front of the door to the throne room. Suddenly, they hear a deafening noise, and the king's cry for help. Swiftly, they turn around and knock on the door to open with their weapons just in time to see a hideous gargoyle standing with the king in its arms. That scene just sounds so romantic.
Oh, of course.
Also, greedy gargoyles. I will believe it if it was the spider. As Axel moves forward to stop the gargoyle, two monsters step out of the dark and attack the fearless trio. In the meantime, the gargoyle gets away with the motionless body of the king. After a short bloody battle, Vegeta, Sheena, and Doofus are standing alone in the throne room of the king, looking out of the scattered window where they can see the shape of the gargoyle vanishing in the horizon. Dark times are to come, and Vegeta, Sheena, and Doofus prepare themselves for a quest. The quest to find the king and destroy the evil alliance of the ferocious brother and the warlock, the Morlock, the Soul Thief. And that's the story. I did tell you that the story was overly complicated for a beat 'em up. But yeah, it also has a very much abbreviated version on the back of the box. But you know, no need to read that if I read the long one. But yeah, here is the. We've already been introduced to several new enemy types while I was reading the backstory. None of them are particularly dangerous except for the Dark Warlocks. And that one was just destroyed somehow. Like, there were actually 2 chests piled on top of each other and they destroyed each other, one another when they fell down. It's pretty hilarious.
Right.
I have a magic gauntlet, I don't need anything else. But yeah, the biggest threat, those dark summoners, or dark warlocks, or what have you. They can cast many spells, some of them similar to our magic gauntlet, which means that they're automatically the worst enemy in the game. They can also move around very much. And they can also block a lot of our regular attacks, but it's kind of normal for just about any enemy in the game. If you see this many of them, I suggest using magic.
Just blow the grass up.
Yeah, though you should be, like, when it comes to like using magic, you should be conserving it for, like, conserving it for situations where there are many enemies on the screen is preferable. However, you should also consider the fact that enemy defeated with magic will not drop anything when you kill them that way. And sadly, the same thing applies for when they're killed with frog, which I was assuming that wouldn't be the case, but well, frog is just that useless. And here we have the reason why this game was never released in America. Or at least I'm assuming that was the case. Because there is literally no info on this game. Apparently the American release was planned and was called... it actually had a much cooler name. It was called Knights of Carnage, which I think
that would have made it a lot more memorable.
Yes, which
and
is
a lot
actually,
easier of a title to search.
It would be a title that you wouldn't get with like half the PS1 RPGs and fantasy games. But yeah, this is why actually I am going to be referring to this game as Legend Knights of Carnage for this entire playthrough, like in the title, because it just sounds cooler. And also, at one point, it was one of the titles, so you know.
You're not lying, technically.
Also, I can imagine that if this game did get released in America, there would have been some censorship there. Because, like, let's be honest, these enemy types are just not very fitting to this location at all.
No, they are not.
They really are not. So it wouldn't even be harmful to the medieval setting they have going on.
Just straight up remove these guys and put more gargoyles, I guess.
That would make the game infinitely easier, because they are actually pretty hard enemies. Not as hard as the dark summoners or what have you, sorcerers, whatever. But their spear attacks are actually pretty vicious, and they are pretty relentless. And they have very wide range with their spears.
Now we're rocking out on the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm. This is like oh no, not spiders.
Get this fucking spider off me!
Not killed hard enough. the sound effect they used for this cannon. Like, this sucks so bad. Most of the enemies can effortlessly block this attack, but it's still so entertaining to use.
Right.
But yeah, we have to watch out for the stage hazards. Thankfully, the enemies are just as bad at avoiding them as we are, so they will often get hit by them. And the lava plumes are actually fairly damaging. So oftentimes it's not such a bad idea to actually let the enemy just walk into a fireball.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I demonstrated just now, this game's auto lock-on for the enemies is really good. It's actually way better than what they used in the early 3D Tales games.
How?
Because when the enemy moves around you, your combo will actually follow behind them, as opposed to just being locked on a straight line when the enemy changes their lane and wasting time performing a combo on air.
Right. Right on. Okay.
Yeah, it's certainly like I really don't know why they didn't use this lock-on system. I mean, it has some flaws, but that just comes with this game being made in 1998. You know, it's like they cut it some slack, especially since a lot of games afterwards did it worse. What would have made it awesome is, well, it's possible, another possible use for the L1 button, if you could actually see which enemy you're specifically aiming for. Because while yeah, it usually will be the closest one, you may sometimes uncontrollably just run into, just aim for something that you don't really want to. If there was some small indication, like, you know, a green arrow like in Ocarina of Time, that would indicate what you're aiming at currently, or for example, some way to quickly switch between your targets of interest. It's like, you know, they could be highlighted very slightly, and this is the worst boss in the game.
Well, it's a fucking dragon.
Yeah, but let's put it this way, this game was not made for combating enemies that are not humanoid.
Ah.
It's a similar problem as to why the spider is the worst enemy in the game. And I'm refusing to fight the spider. I am refusing to do that. So even though I really don't have any magic to spare, and I should have not wasted that, because it could have been more useful on the freaking boss of this area, I am not fighting a spider. I refuse to. It's that bad.
It's why you're instead opting to burn the whole house down. It's the only way to be sure.
So yeah, hello Ridley from Metroid.
Yet again, my interpretation makes way more sense. That guy was totally laying down, taking a nap, having a good time, then you come up and start stabbing the fuck out of him.
That's true. The only thing I found reliable as to when it comes to dealing with this boss, when you don't have any magic, just combo every time, because otherwise you'll just not be able to consistently do damage to him. It's like he blocks too easily, and also the way his head is situated, right in, just all across, all the way across his body, it's like all the way in front of it. It just pushes you away. Honestly, just this game engine is not made for fighting non-humanoid enemies.
Yeah, it really seems like that.
You'll see me die a few more times until I finally get this fight out of this location and get myself a magic gauntlet and then fry him alive. Also, a fire breath attack is bullshit. There is no way to dodge it. Well, technically there is a way, but there is no way for you to actually be able to reasonably react within the time you have, or in this situation to see it coming. The dragon is also way too good at aiming it exactly where you're going, and he also, flicks his head left and right, makes it go all over the place. You can't dodge that. You can't jump over it, because your jump is way too vertical. Magic gauntlet. Die, you piece of trash.
At least once we're done here, we'll be able to make some nice dragon skin boots.
They'll sell nice on the black market.
Oh yeah.
Almost done. Just need to waste a few more lives. Thankfully, he does get damaged each time I die a little bit, at least.
Right.
Also, notice how important the combos are for the success of this game. On my first playthrough, I had no idea how to use them. Because, honestly, would you really think to hold R1 and R2 and then input a weird button combination?
Nope.
Exactly.
That poor dragon.
But the Yoo-hoo makes it all okay,
She must really love chocolate milk.
And now there was no bonus round. I don't know if it has anything to do with the score or if it's just something you get after certain levels and not the other ones. Yeah, gonna get all them. Or almost. I was just checking out the prices and wondering whether or not I will have enough on the next stage. I just decided to save up more money, especially since magic files are actually pretty common.